on whether or not Miguel Cabrera should be the AL MVP. If not him, then who? And on top of that, can Miguel Cabrera get the Triple Crown this year? Which has not been done in
1967, Carl Yastrzemski.
What he said.
1966, Frank Robinson. 1956 with Mickey Mantle were the last few times. And before that, I think it was 47 with Ted Williams. I think we heard it on the ride down. That's why I remembered it.
He would be the 16th.
Yeah.
Not the 16th player, 16th time it's happened.
He would be the 14th player, and it would be the 16th time if it happened. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's something that we've never had the chance, as long as we've been alive, to ever see, even from the day we were born. So, I mean, we're too young. I would love to see a player do it, but at the same time, I think it takes a little bit away from it if the team that he does it for doesn't even make the playoffs. If he wins the Triple Crown, he wins. And, I'm hearing a lot of people talking about Verlander again for the Cy Young, too. Now, if you take a guy like Verlander, give him the Cy Young, and you take a guy like Miguel Cabrera, you give him the triple, he earns the Triple Crown, and then you give him the AL MVP. Now you got the AL MVP, a Triple Crown winner, and the Cy Young winner not even in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That, to me, is a little too hard to do.
I mean, look, I personally think that whether you make the playoffs or not make the playoffs, if you're the best player throughout the year, then you really can't take away the fact that the guy deserves the MVP. I mean, that like you mentioned Trout before, and there's a chance that the Angels don't make the playoffs either. Like, sometimes the best individual performance doesn't always equal great team performance. Like in the NBA, individual performance equals great team performance because the NBA is really the only sport where one guy can dominate an entire game.
I'll agree with you, but we've seen Cabrera do this before. We've seen him put up numbers. Nobody's seen Trout before. This is his official rookie year. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
there's nobody that
if
even
you don't
challenges
give him, if you don't give him Rookie of the Year, then something's a little
there's nobody
shady.
that even challenges him. It's not even like it's close. He wins Rookie of the Year. That's just flat out. And a lot of people were talking a month or so ago that he was going to win the AL MVP too. Now, I don't necessarily see that. If Cabrera gets the Triple Crown, he gets the MVP.
But yeah, you can't not
do
give a guy that does that and not give him MVP.
Something that hasn't been done in 35 years, and or longer than that. Is it longer than that? 35
since 67?
Yeah, no.
That would be 45.
45 years. Wow.
Yeah, 45 years. So our dads were alive when it happened.
Bar Hills math right there for you.
Yeah, there you go. Man. See, and that's the thing. It's funny because, like Joey puts in the chat room that he thinks Trout could have won the MVP, but with the Angels not playing all so greatly, he doesn't think he will. And I think that, if you're going to do it based on how well a team's playing, then you got to throw Derek Jeter into the conversation.
See, I saw Pixel put that in the chat room before, and you can't throw Jeter in the mix. I'll tell you why. One, he doesn't have quite the RBIs. Two, he's just... If he hasn't won it in past years with what he's been able to do, and he's had much better statistical seasons than he's had this year, even though he has a great batting average this year. If he didn't get it in those years, he's not getting it this year. Not with a couple potential Triple Crown winners in Hamilton and Cabrera, and not in a flat-out stud like Trout. I'm sorry, he doesn't rank above those three. Nobody's a bigger fan of Jeter than myself. He's going to be the greatest Yankee that I'll ever have a chance to see. I mean, it's going to be sad the day I got to watch a guy like Eduardo Nunez take his place. It's really Eduardo Michel Nunez, our future. I might shed a tear the day Jeter retires. I'm not kidding.
I think a lot of Yankee fans will, though.
But then again, I'm also a realistic Yankee fan in the fact that Jeter has zero chance of winning the AL MVP. Zero. He's not in it. There's only three names in the discussion, and that's Trout, Cabrera, and Hamilton. That's just what it is. And the only one on a winning team or on a playoff team right now is Hamilton.
Well, I mean, look. The only thing is, right now, I have the batting average leader, home runs leader, RBI leader in front of me. Cabrera's the only guy that's in the top 5 of all 3 of those lists. Only one. You have Josh Hamilton is on the top 5 in home runs and RBIs, but not in batting average. You have Mike Trout second in batting average, not in the top 5 in home runs, not in the top 5 in RBIs.
No, but he also started a month later than everybody else too.
Oh, I understand that.
I mean, can you pull up Trout's stats real quick? He's got to have at least 30 home runs.
I can pull up Mike Trout's stat, no problem. Mike Trout so far this year is at 32 home runs, 93 RBIs. He struck out 151 times, but 50 stolen bases, batting .306.
Dude, the guy's going to be a 50 stolen base, 40 home run a year guy.
But that's what I mean.
The guy can steal 60 and hit 40 homers. He's got and how many runs does he have? I didn't see. I know you said his RBIs. His RBIs were at 93, but he has well over 100 runs right now. Yeah, I think he's leading the league in runs. I mean,
right now he has 118 runs on the season.
So I'm saying is the guy's stats. Now, if you compare his stats to Cabrera's stats, can we do that real quick? Can we look up Cabrera's stats?
We can look up Cabrera's stats.
I don't think he's that far off in any category. I think he's 8 home runs behind Cabrera, because I think Cabrera has 40 right now.
Cabrera right now is at 40 home runs, 129 RBIs. He's scored 100 runs.
So Trout's got 18 more
and
runs on him.
And 4 stolen bases.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at the numbers side by side, you can make a case for Trout. Because Trout didn't come in until May. A full month behind Cabrera.
That definitely gives you a leg up when it comes down to being able to get some hits.
He played
and home runs
more than a full month, less than Cabrera. And he's got stats that are right there along with anybody.
See, I actually like either which one. I mean, I don't really think you can go wrong with either one. Ladies and gentlemen, right now what I'm putting in the chat room for you is a video that actually compares the two guys if you want to get into it. And have an opportunity to look. So I go up to look at Fife. I see like this little paragraph Fife types, and I'm thinking Fife's got like this serious opinion, and he's talking about food that your mom makes.
That's because he doesn't care about baseball. So he's doing anything he can not to talk about the topic of baseball.
Fair enough.
Now he doesn't necessarily have an opinion on this, so that's why he doesn't.
So he's talking food with Christina. All right, cool. Now. Joey mentions that he believes Trout is the reason why the Angels are even in the playoff race right now. And that's hard to argue with when it really comes down to it. The Angels themselves have not been the most consistent team all year long, now outside of Trout. Even at Albert Pujols, it took you, 4 months to really get into the swing of being Albert Pujols, you know? I mean, me and Joey, when we were doing the show, we were talking, the one thing we mentioned was when he finally hit his first home run. You know, and it was like, oh, my God, you finally hit your first home run. Like, guys are at, 7, 8 at this point. You just got number 1. Like, you're Albert Pujols. Like, what's going on? Like, and I got to agree with the fact that you definitely can credit Mike Trout for being a major, major contributor to his team, even being relevant in the playoff race right now. And to me, that's sort of the definition of MVP, isn't it? Most valuable player to lead, I feel like that's where the big debate comes. Is an MVP the best player in the league, or is he the guy that had the biggest impact on giving his team a good season?
No, he's the best player in the league. It's an individual award. You can't penalize a guy. I mean, that's why Felix Hernandez 2 years ago won the Cy Young going 13-12. To me, nobody going 13-12 should win the Cy Young ever. But it's the fact that he played on the Mariners and they literally had zero offense.
Well, yeah, I mean, when he threw his perfect game, they won 1-0.
That's the way they pitched for him. So on one hand, you could look at it as the guy had amazing stats. He had the league's best ERA, best in strikeouts. Best everything other than wins. and losses. He had to shut somebody out in order to get a win.
Which is just not fair. I mean, if you really think about it, imagine putting him on the Angels or on the Rangers or on the Yankees or on a team that can score 3-4 runs a game. Like, imagine what he would do if you put him on a team like that. He could possibly go, 18-2? Like, I mean, he could have a ridiculous season on a much better team. But when it comes down to AL MVP, I could see Cabrera, I could see Trout. I mean, I know some people out there want to throw Josh Hamilton in the mix, and I think a lot of that's due to what the Rangers as a team have more done so far this year than. I mean, Hamilton's having a good year, but
when the season started, Hamilton started out on fire. He had like 20 home runs in the first 2 months.
Yeah, he went nuts.
He went nuts in the beginning of the year, but he's one of these guys that he's come out and said it himself. He gets bored with the game. He does. The everyday, grind of it. He's a guy who gets up for the big moments. He gets up for the playoffs. He gets up for, even the start of the year. He wants to start off well, become mid-season. He's a guy that's kind of like checked out until playoff time.
Yeah, like
mentally.
let's just get there. And
let's just,
what, 162 is a long,
it is
long
a
season.
long season. It's a grueling task. It's an everyday battle. That's what people don't understand. They say baseball, how hard is baseball? You go out there for a couple innings, blah, blah, blah. It's a sport where when you got to do it every single day, it's not like football where you get 3 days off, when most teams don't pick up pads again until,
Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And most of those guys, most of the stars like Hakeem Nicks never practices. I don't think he practiced at all last year. He's not practicing this year either. He may do a walkthrough on Friday or Saturday, but that's about all you're getting from him because he's always got a foot injury, an ankle injury. He got some type of ailment that keeps him out of practice. Baseball is an everyday grind.
Which is one of the challenges of the game.
Is it as physical as football or hockey? No. But hockey's played once every 3 days. Football's played once a week. Baseball is an everyday sport. That's why it's so hard to stay healthy. That's why it's so hard that your team stays intact an entire year. Never happens.
I gotta agree with. That's actually one of the credits to the sport is the fact that it's such a mentally grueling thing to get up every single day. Is to get up and tell yourself, all right, let's get out there again today. Let's get competitive. What about the teams that are, 50 games under 500 and have no opportunity at all to do anything ever for the year? How about those guys that got to get up every day and go play? I mean, at least Josh Hamilton gets to go, you go to a stadium that's filled every night, that's screaming for you, that's proud of you, that's excited to watch you play. That's got to be a lot easier to get up and go play and say, Seattle, unless Felix is pitching. I mean, that's the only time you ever see that stadium get filled. Or
that's why Josh Hamilton in his first few years, he was actually with the Reds, and he really didn't do anything. He got traded to Texas, and then that's when he blew up. He really didn't do much when he was at Cincinnati. That's because Cincinnati was never in it.
Yeah, and you got no fans, you got no, and now Cincinnati's finally rocking, which is also. Now, what I will say is that I think one way or another, you're going to see one of these two guys probably pull it down. I have a hard time thinking when you look at, like sitting here looking at the stats, I mean, I don't see, any guy that like I said, there's nobody on here that really has this amazing season in front of them outside of the, Cabrera, you got Trout. Josh Hamilton's having a good year. I mean, Curtis Granderson's up on the home runs list. Adam Dunn. But then you don't see those.
Granderson's batting 250, though. He ain't going anywhere with that.
I mean, you don't really see. I mean, Prince Fielder's up there with 100 RBIs, but he's not up there in home runs or batting average. There's really not much out there outside of those guys if you really want my honest opinion. I mean, so I got to say I like one of those two to take it. That's for damn sure.
I got to think Cabrera's going to end up getting it personally. I just think that the voters are going to have a hard time voting a guy Rookie of the Year and AL MVP. I don't think that's ever been done before, so I don't necessarily see them doing that now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying too. That's hard. I actually am looking at. You were right. Miguel Cabrera has actually 60 more at bats than Mike Trout, and has 18 less runs, has 23 more hits, has 14 more doubles. He has no triples compared to Mike Trout's 6 triples. Mike Trout has 13 less home runs. Am I looking at?
No, not 13 less.
I mean, this might not be updated.
I don't think it is.
Wow. Yeah, I guess not. I mean, yeah, because this is showing me that Mike Trout only has right now 27 home runs and 77 RBIs.
Yeah, so we know that's wrong because he has 93 RBIs and 32 home runs.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm reading you something that is not updated. What are you going to do? Any which way. See, there you go. Pixel Junkie likes the fact. First MVP. So here you go. I'll give you a question. Is it more likely for Mike Trout to be the first player to win AL MVP and AL Rookie of the Year, or for Miguel Cabrera to win MVP and the Triple Crown? Both happening.
More likely, Trout wins them both, in my opinion. It's been 45 years since someone won the Triple Crown. I just don't know if we're going to see it. It's so hard to do.
It's not going to be easy, that's for damn sure.
How long is that? I mean, for as many years baseball's been around, which is 120 years or so, they've been keeping stats on baseball. 16, it's only been done 15 times by 13 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
In, 120 years. It's not something you're going to see very often.
No. Hey, you know what? And that's one of the reasons why I'm rooting for the guy.
And most of those were, if you look at Yastrzemski in 67, Frank Robinson, like I said, Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams, the last 4 guys, there's only been 4 guys to do it since 1947. 4 people have done it from 1947 to now, which means, it happened a lot more pre-1947 than it's happened since then. And that's just due to parity in baseball. Guys have gotten better. It's harder to get all those stats, batting average, home runs, and ribbies all, lining up the same way. It's hard to be that dominant.
Dude, let's be serious here, man. Triple Crown is nothing that comes by without a little bit of luck on your side as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? We're going to make our decisions. I'll take... he likes Trout. I'm going to say...
No, I'm going to go Cabrera to win the... for the dual thing?
Yeah.
For the dual thing, I will go Trout, but I think eventually what's going to happen is Trout will get Rookie of the Year. Cabrera will miss out on the Triple Crown, but still get the AL MVP. That's my actual prediction.